Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to this week's main podcast. Episode 11 already of this season. So we're going to be talking about the Arsenal game. We'll look at the poll and we'll get into a bit of a natter, maybe some more to know better, and we'll get going. So we'll have a bit of an intro and then we'll say hello.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Hello. So before we get into it, as usual, I'm having some more IT issues. Not actually caused by me this time, funnily enough. I've moved to a new internet provider and things have got worse. So that's fun. Anyway, we'll get into it. Karl, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Better than you at the moment with your internet. Am I on mute? Or hello? No?
I can hear you.
Cool. Smarty, how are you doing?
Can you not hear Karl? This is going to be funny if you can't. I'm very well, thank you, Matthew. Would be better with 3 points.
What's going on now?
Oh, God.
Superman.
He's gone. Oh, he's gone.
He like he's gone already.
For God's sake. The thing is, he's obviously in charge of predictions and stuff, and I don't even know what they are. So I don't have them. So I can't literally run with next bit because... Oh, he's back. Are you back? I don't know. Are you back? Who knows?
I didn't even do anything. There's nothing different going on.
You're here now anyway.
Would you be better off just tethering the internet off your phone, perhaps?
You know what? I very, very nearly did that. It's all set up.
Honestly.
So as I was explaining, I'm having some internet issues at the moment with my brand new internet connection. 1.3 gig, but it's not much use if it just keeps dropping out. So we'll start off with the predictions. So as we know, we didn't get the result we were looking for, although we did get the result a lot of people, or close to a lot of people, predicted. So I'll run through what we had. We had Jay with 3-1 leads. We had Smarty with 2-1 leads. We had Karl with 2-1 leads. We had Big Lou with 2-1 leads. None of them got any points. We had the fans, Emmy Lou, went for a 2-2 draw. Bryn went for a 2-2 draw. And Sai didn't put anything in. What we then had was Stats with 2-1 Arsenal. Joe with 4-1 Arsenal. Me with 2-1 Arsenal. Luke with 3-1 Arsenal. Scotty with 4-0 Arsenal. And Jason with 4-0 Arsenal. So there's a few points going around there. So if you now look at what the table looks like, the fans are still 5 points clear. But now it is Jay, Smarty, and myself in joint second, with Luke joint with Stats in 6th, Karl on his own in 7th, and just running down, we've got Joe, Sai, Jason, Bren, and then still on minus points, we've got Big Lou and Scotty, which is just lovely. We're not treating our guests very well, it feels like, doesn't it? But we crack on, don't we? So into the game. I know that none of us were on the BNC, so we've not had a chance to talk about it yet. Karl, how did you feel?
I was very disappointed, if I'm going to be honest, with the final result. I thought, I know, went from last week from talking about how long does Jesse Marsh have after the Palace game to Jesus Christ, it's amazing what we play like when teams come to actually play football. When teams come to not shithouse, waste time, it's mad the intensity that we play at for long periods when the play isn't broken up. I thought we were very good. I thought that was probably our best second half, our best first half last week. I was kind of fearing that we might run out of steam a little bit towards the end of the second half, but I don't think it even looked like that was going to happen. I think the substitutes perhaps maybe a little, Gilly with the ER Wi-Fi. Hi, Liam. So I just I thought I was very, very happy with it. very happy with the performance. And look, sure, Pat's still on his way back. I think he can be forgiven, I think, at this rate. But I don't think he should have. I don't think he should have taken it in the first place, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But that's just my opinion.
So around you in the stands, how many times did you? No, he's not scoring that.
There was a few people that were kind of humming and hawing. So it was. I think everyone had the same feeling. It was kind of like, geez, he hasn't scored in how long? And the last time he scored was the under-21s. Did they really count? It's good for his confidence. And no,
technically scored early in the second half.
Yeah.
Technically.
Technically,
I mean, he scores that, and that penalty goes in top corner.
Yeah.
If that goal stands, the impact that has on him, that penalty is definitely going in. We're taking the lead at that point. Okay. So in terms of
Rodrigo scores that. I don't think.
Scores that.
Rodrigo would smash that in.
Well, he wasn't on, was he? Click one.
I know he wasn't, and deservedly fucking so.
He was when the other one was given, but then it was taken off us again.
Yeah. Like Click's only missed one penalty for us, so he's taken quite a few.
Yeah, he's pretty cool with him, isn't he? I'm not sure about Rodrigo. That pass, that pass is the stuff of nightmares. It really is. We were in North East Lower, and it were coming towards us. And the second he kicked it, we're like, "What the fuck is that?" It didn't get any better from there.
It didn't look any better from the south stand either.
No. Well, obviously, me and you sit quite near each other. And as soon as I saw it lift off, like, it might as well have had a fucking countdown next to it or something on board.
Yeah.
I thought, what the fuck's he doing? I just went,
give it to him.
Why?
Hell of a finish. That's what we don't do.
Hey,
when there's teams that slip up against us and give us an opportunity to punish them, we don't take that, and they did. We presented that to them, and they took it well. So Smarty, I'll come to you then. Given what happened in the first half, given everything that happened in the second half, on balance, what did we deserve out of the game?
At the very, very minimum, a well-deserved point. Absolutely. Because we were like a fucking fire blanket in the second half. We just suffocated them. We didn't let them breathe. They were constantly under pressure. It was glorious. I mean, it was just a shame that we didn't manage to get through it and actually score a chuffing goal. I mean, we had quite a few chances, but are we at a point now where the team is that desperate for a goal or that desperate for points that we're obviously we're missing quite easy chances and all that sort of stuff. But is it we need a goal off his arse cheek sort of thing to kind of get the ball going, or are we at that stage now? It was a shame because, like I said, the passing, the movement, the attacking, the defense, everything was clicking apart from Rodrigo and his silly pass. That aside, I thought Rodrigo had a decent game up until then. After that, his head gone, and rightly so. Jesse Marsh, subbed him and brought Bamford on. And the minute that lad stepped on the pitch, he would absolutely fire. It's just a shame he can't seem to bury his chances. But then it's not down to Patrick Bamford to score all our goals. There's 9 other outfield players that are there. Give or take, that should be able to pop one in every now and again. So, it's down. It's a team effort. It's down to the whole team. Somerville had a very, very good chance towards end of game that he should have probably buried. So it's not just him. It's everyone. So, but you got to try and focus on the positives. It's a marked, improvement on the game at Palace, the game against Villa. We're going in the right direction. I think it's just got to take something. And I think if we can get something against Leicester, and hopefully, get 3 points, I think that'll give us a springboard then to kind of crack on then and get as many points on board and get a few places higher in the table, whilst we're obviously looking at the World Cup then. But no, I can't really knock the lads. I thought they were fantastic. I thought Arsenal were a very good side. Don't look like the Premier League winners to me, if I'm totally honest, based on what I've seen. But they've got quite a lot of individual quality. But time will tell, won't it? But yeah, I enjoyed it, and it was good. It was a good game. It was a good game to watch as well. Just a shame about the result, really.
It is. So there were a bit of a a tete-a-tete between Bamford and Gabriel. So, we saw a red card given, a red card taken back, a yellow card given, and so on. Karl, from your position, I don't know how much you got to see or whether you've been able to see it back, because it would have been the other end of the pitch from you, wouldn't it? So from a viewpoint of the way that all of that played out, so having looked at it, Gabriel's got hold of Bamford before the ball comes in. Ball comes in, Bamford can't challenge for it because he's got his arms around him.
Mm-hmm.
Ball breaks out to the far post and then comes back in. Bit of a shove. It looked to me like it was more hip than anything, but a bit of a shove. Gabriel's nudged away from it.
Yeah.
Paddy scores. But we're in a position where we've got defence, we've got Saliba, we've got Gabriel that kind of play in that nasty game, that naughty game. The nudging, the complaining about every tackle that goes in, diving around. Is that something that, in order to be successful in this league, you need to have?
Well, to go back and just see if what I made out of the Bamford goal.
So you're still there.
You're still there, Gilly.
We can see you.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear us though, can he? But I just, from what I could see of the Bamford goal, it looked very much like he might have nudged him.
I am just doing well, Leeds.
And it did look like he had nudged him, but I don't think if it was enough to get Gabriel out of the way, I think the defender needs to hit the floor for that to be a foul. That for me is a jostle in the box. Maybe, other way around, we're thinking, well, we're lucky we got lucky there. But there's an element of physicality. Like, you're not going to be able to not touch someone if you're going up for a header or you're trying to win a ball. And it's not like he put his foot across him. There was nothing there. It looked like Gabriel went up for a header, and Bamford and he missed it, and Bamford was didn't jump off the ground, and it made him look maybe perhaps more like a shove than it actually was. But I don't think there was enough in it to warrant it being a foul. I think the defender should have been stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely not a foul. I mean, you can understand why you would give a very, very, very soft foul. But when you think back, I mean, I don't know how many times we're going to refer to this, but I must have done it at least every last 3 weeks we've recently had. But when Rodrigo were fouled by, I can't even remember what keeper it was now. It's that long ago. They were taken out in box of a similar challenge. The keeper came out and completely took him out, and he were on floor. It were in the middle of the field, we got a free kick for it. Mm-hmm. There's no difference between that one from the keeper on Rodrigo than what Bamford did, and it were a hell of a lot softer challenge because he, like you said, he's not gone on the floor. He's been moved out of the way, and Bamford smashed it straight down the keeper's throat.
Yeah,
like you said, it's just inconsistencies, and it's just something that we're seeing all the time. That was one of the softest things I've ever seen in my life, and it should have stood. So it's bullshit. That was absolute fucking bollocks.
It was. I feel it was, because if the tide completely turns then on the game, and we were very much on top regardless of whether we were 1-0 down or not. But that puts a different emphasis on it for us and for Arsenal. They have to now start coming at us, but run the risk of, well, we run the risk as well, obviously, but we were the team in the ascendancy for large portions of the second half. And that, like you said earlier, that penalty, it goes in, we win that game 2-1, and my prediction's great, and I'm 5 points in, and it's happy days. But
Me too.
I think, going back to Gabriel's, I don't know whether they were tactics or he was lucky to get away with it or what he was, but if Bamford was in any way clued in and not as honest as he is sometimes, he probably should have gone down when he was put through, and Gabriel had his arms around him at one point as he was going through, if he had any brains at all. All right.
Well, that looks clear. That looks really clear, that doesn't it?
Jesus. You on your phone now?
We'll see if that's any better.
All right. And it,
fucking gigs it, look.
Yeah. Gigs it. We're just talking about the through ball that was played in for Bamford, Gilly, where Gabriel had his arms around him, which came after the goal. And I was just saying to Smarty there, if he had Bamford had any brains about him, he'd played the same game as Gabriel did, and he'd have gone over like a sack of spuds, you know. Last man would have been sent off.
It was Saliba, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Saliba? Excuse
Saliba.
me. Sorry. Or Saliba, yeah.
You're very quiet, Gilly.
Goal.
Just to add to your woes there.
Yeah.
Just start using flags and little boards. Start writing on a little board somewhere.
Oh yeah, easy.
How's that?
Oh Jesus, yeah. How are you getting on?
Yeah, better.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
we've got a customer complaint, Gilly.
Any chance we can get the pod and Apple Podcast?
Yeah, I need to do B and C. I haven't done that yet. Yes, we will.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Saliba. I don't know how you say his name, but I think that's who pulled Bamford back when he was running through.
Yeah.
It takes me back to Bamford being fouled a couple of times and then having to turn around to a referee and saying, "What do you want me to do? Do I have to dive to get a decision?" We absolutely pilloried Bamford for diving against Villa 3 or 4 years ago because we ate it, and we all remember Adrian. And we can't be asked with any of that anymore. But if you're not getting the decisions otherwise, what a player's going to do?
Yeah, I think we need to be more cute about how we do things a lot more lately as well, because if other teams are getting away with it like that, granted, we can probably go on and it's probably the top 6 bias or whatever the case may be, but maybe we do need to be a bit more cute like that when it comes to playing the bigger teams. If we know we're on top and we know what their antics might be, why not just play them at their own game in that respect, you know? But then again, we're probably getting punished.
People, the lads on the pitch are still that they've still got kind of Bielsa's vision in with how to play football, a gentleman's game and all that sort of stuff. And I think that's still instilled in quite a lot of the lads. Maybe not the new ones, but certainly the Bielsa boys. It's just not cricket, is it? As they say. Throwing yourself around and stuff like that. But I think as the old guard moves out steadily, I think the new guys that come in, I think that'll probably be part of our. Should we maintain our Premier League status, of course, I think it'll be part of how we go forward. But you don't want to see it, do you? I mean, we've been blessed over the last few years with good football, and you don't want to see it. As a fan, I don't want to see it. I hate it when I see other footballers do it. And to think that someone in our team would start throwing himself around Adrian style, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all. But I mean, up till this weekend, we hadn't had a single VAR decision go our way. Mm-hmm. And then we get a frigging bucket load of them.
Yeah, do you think
minus the cat at the end?
Do you think we got the VAR decision for the penalty because of that article that came out on the Saturday morning?
Do
you think it was just like,
got to give him one at least.
Well, like I saw some lad comment on Twitter going, sure, lads, the law of averages. And I was like, well, hold on, we went 59 games without a penalty at one stage. Where's the law of averages there? That's the most fucked up law of averages I've ever seen, But yeah,
there's a couple of we're going to save that one. Sorry. To just expand on that point, because I just remember what the poll options were. But just to kind of expand on that point a bit, yes, we got one thing in our favour from VAR, which I think we were one of 4 teams that hadn't had anything in the run up to it. But we got one thing, but we had umpteen against us. So on balance, we still didn't come out ahead. We just got one decision in our favour. We didn't even take advantage of that.
and they had a red card overturned because of fucking VAR as well. And you're like, well, okay, fair enough, But,
and that just the last bit on that is my view of that was you had a player that there'd been a tussle, whatever, regardless. To my mind, regardless of whether Bamford has fouled him or not, is that not irrelevant? Once somebody's kicked out, surely that's a red, regardless of what's gone before.
That's violent conduct, isn't it? regardless, like you get a red, like you're saying there, you get a red card if you get into a scuffle and you go face to face or head to head with someone. You get a red card straight away, whether you've committed the foul or not.
Yeah, you're always told not to retaliate because when you retaliate, it's worse. So what we've seen at the weekend is, Karl, me and you are playing football. You're playing against me. You come in and tackle me, and I don't like it. I turn around and lamp you because it's been seen as a free kick. It don't work like that. I don't just get a yellow card because you fouled me first.
Yeah. It's like that's like saying, well, you started it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what?
That's all right.
They should have been viewed as two separate incidents, shouldn't they? There should have been the initial foul, which apparently, but you can literally see the fucker. He's looking at Bamford. He's timing his run. He's looking where he's going, and he's just gone. He's completely, back checked him, whatever you want to call it. He's body checked him. He's thrown himself on the floor, and then he's booted him. So there's the foul that Bamford has committed. Bollocks. But Bamford's committed a foul and bowled him over in there. Then he's kicked him. So at what point do you take that act of aggression, that red card offence, and turn it into a yellow card of offence? Oh, well, he fouled you, so you're all right to kick him a bit.
Exactly.
Well, that's bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's kicked out. Beckham. We've seen that many times. that many players and stuff being sent off of the pitch for the same sort of things. Beckham's probably one of the most famous one when he kicked out at World Cup in 1998. At 1998, 20 odd years later, someone else is doing the same thing. The game's more strict. Players can't get away with nowhere near enough shit, but yet we'll rescind the red. We'll give you a yellow instead. It's fucking bollocks, man.
And now they can't do anything about it because the referee's given the booking. So it's not even like they can do a retrospective view of it now because it's in the referee's report and he's already made his decision. And he saw it via the screen. It all stinks. It really stinks.
Yeah. It stinks to high heaven, like.
But that said, I think, coming back to your point, Smart, I think that there are a lot of positives we can take from the game. I've not listened to anything that Jesse said after the game. I've not watched Match at Day 2 because they can piss off and get in see. But there's and we're desperate for points. I'm really worried. I am really worried, and we're desperate for points. But there are a lot of positives that you can take from that second half. You're right. We absolutely
the whole game. In reality, the whole game. I think we played all right the whhole game. I think we just went that extra gear in the second half. And I don't know whether that's because of Bamford's influence or whether it's because the guys have fought, or whether Jesse Marsh has got them in changing rooms, clunked their heads together and said, "Come on, lads, let's fucking, let's dig deep here and let's put a performance on because we need to." But like you said, I don't think I'm worried, but I think we do need to start getting points on board now. And Leicester and Fulham obviously aren't must win, but if we are to maintain our Premier League status, then we need to be beating teams like Leicester who are in the mud, and Fulham that have just been freshly promoted to the Premier League again and aren't doing too fantastic themselves. So, in fact, am I talking shite there? Where are they, Fulham, actually?
I think they're about 12th.
Oh, well, so they're higher than us in league.
They are higher than us in league. However, just one other element, just a bit of a facet on that is we didn't get to play Forest, and Forest were properly in the mud at the point at which we would have been playing them. How much better would you be feeling if we had another 3 points under our belt? Yeah, and the scrum were as well. So how much better would it have been had we been able to play during that period and, hopefully would have been able to get some points because we were against sides that really were playing poorly. We're not going to know, but on those sorts of things, you can impact the way that a team's playing, can't you? So we'll just move on to the next part. So hopefully Smart is ready for this, but I'll give him about 3.5 seconds while I run VT.
Twitter poll results.
Loads of time to get ready.
Born ready, me. This is the poll part of the show, obviously. Each week we ask the listeners to vote for the main subject of our podcast via a Twitter poll. This week's options are touchline bans and the inconsistencies. When is club legend status achieved? Is the left-back position still up for grabs? And Bamford's goal drought. And the winner is Parched Rick Bamford. See what I did there? I'll tell you what, these poll options are just absolutely fantastic. I don't know who does it like. It's all banter, isn't it? So with 40% Parched Rick Bamford. Do we need to worry about Bamford? I mean, there is obviously. I mean, I've said enough. I think over the last few weeks, to be honest, I've not exactly, put him in a golden light. But do we still buy another striker in January? Do we stick with Bamford? I mean, obviously he didn't start, and he started Rodrigo. Does Bamford start against Leicester? What are we thinking after his performance against Arsenal, chaps?
Go for it.
Either of you can start.
You want me to? So I think that if Bamford's fit, he plays. If we enter the transfer window with a fit Bamford, and fit in inverted commas, because we know that he's being mollycoddled through and wrapped in cotton wool and whatever else, they're managing his fitness. It gives Rads an absolute straight stonewall option to avoid going into his pocket. I don't think we signed anybody.
So,
I don't think we signed anyone.
No, take what you think the club will do, and what would you do personally?
Oh, absolutely.
As a fan of the club.
100%. Get a striker in. We're absolutely crying out for it. 100%.
Yeah. What do you think the 49ers who were there against fucking Arsenal? What do you think they was thinking when obviously their best striker at the club can't finish his dinner? What do you think? What sort of picture do you think it plays to them?
Our best period of the game started. So I think you're right. We played pretty well the full game, but our best period in the game started with him on the pitch. And I think the influence he has on our ability to play football the way that we want to play football can't be underestimated. He needs to get his shooting boots on, but he still influences us positively in the way that we're able to play the game while he's on the pitch. We're absolutely desperate for a goal getter. I wanted Skamaka to come in. We talked about all sorts of different strikers over the summer. I was desperate for us to make a move, to the point where I would have even taken Shay Adams towards the end, when in the start of the window I'm like, fuck that, I don't know what to do with that. But somebody that has played in the league and probably would be okay with being a sub if everybody's fit, but getting minutes and what have you. I get the point that slows the progression for some of the youth players. It's going to limit their involvement in first team football. But as with the other side of that argument is, if you're good enough, you're old enough. Is they need to force their way into that side, and if they're going to be good enough, well, okay, off you go, show it. So I'm not convinced about that argument. 100%, we need somebody that's going to be able to lead the line when Biscuits Bamford is not available to us.
Biscuits Bamford.
Yeah. I think, like Gilly said there, he starts every time if he's fit. I think even like 85% fit, he starts. I know you're kind of sitting there, Smarty, and you're like, oh, fucking hell.
No.
Like,
I agree to a degree, but we'll come to me later.
I think he's lost his the instinct for finding the net a lot quicker. He's reverted back to the Patrick Bamford where when we bought him first, he was taking too many touches. He was getting caught up in trying to beat a man once too often. And in the second season, we saw that was all but gone with the way he started just using instinct rather than trying to get that extra touch. There was goals in the promotion season where he didn't even have to think about them. Even when we came up the season we were up as well, he didn't even think about them like that. Like that goal against his hat-trick goal against Villa in our first season up, where he was surrounded by four of them. He wasn't thinking about what he was doing there. He was just it was instinct where to put it.
Instinctive, yeah.
And he seems to have lost that, where he's thinking too much about where he wants to put the ball and who he wants to beat and how he wants to do it. And for me, it seems that way. And maybe I've noticed now in the last maybe 2 games, we've started shooting more as a squad. And there is a lot of pressure on Paddy. I get that as well, but at the same time, if he kind of starts looking at how he was 2 seasons ago, and that's where he needs to be. He needs that, just once he gets an eye for goal, just have it. Like there was a goal against Fulham in our first season up. He had no right scoring it. He was so wide of the 6-yard box. He had no right scoring it. But what did he do? It was instinct straight away. Didn't think about it. Knew what he wanted.
One sticks out against Leicester as well. If you remember that one that kind of came across his body and he volleyed it into far end.
Yeah.
A cracking goal.
Again, instinct.
That's it. And he just needs to maybe just understand that that's what's going to get him the goals rather than doing too much work.
Is it fear? Is he playing with fear?
Is it fear or is it pressure? And is it knowing that he's under pressure and he knows that he's got to influence the team in that degree where he's the main man up there and he must score goals? Is it that does he buckle under pressure? Does he buckle under the crowd, the atmosphere? Do we put too much pressure on him? Because he was flying when we weren't there and he's just been average ever since we've come back. I mean, obviously, we've only seen him a handful of times last season. But he wasn't the best striker in Championship. And then we got to Premier League and it just fucking exploded. He took off. He was absolutely fantastic. Us arseholes in stadium have come back and then all of a sudden they can't chuff him play again.
I don't think... I don't think he's got... Like, he's got the support of everyone in the ground. Like, you can see the way, even after he missed the penalty, everyone was still chanting his name, even though there was a few disgruntled heads, obviously, in the ground. Well, about 36,000 of them, perhaps. But he's got that support, and I think with that support, the pressure should alleviate itself in a way. You know, you shouldn't... Like, if you've got the support of all them people behind you, there shouldn't be any pressure if you're supported. There's pressure when you're nagged at to score goals. That's when the pressure and psychological side of things starts to fuck people up. You know, in football and any walk of life. But that's simply it. He's got support, so he's got everything that he needs in his locker to be able to do it. He just needs to start being a lot more clinical. You know,
it's like you said though, with pressure, you build that pressure within yourself as well, and you expect. You know, we've all played football to a certain degree, and we've all come back from injury or whatever, and we've never been the same when we come back. There's rustiness and there's I'm punching my mic here. There's rustiness, and you're not on form and all that sort of stuff, and it takes you a little bit of time. We don't have loads of people watching us, and you know what it's like when you're trying harder. Some of the stuff that you'd probably able to done, the passes and that instinct as a footballer, you know, if you've been playing for that long, you don't have it, and you're just trying to probably overthink stuff and maybe scared of making mistakes and scared of letting that instinct take over just in case you do fuck up, you know, massively. So like you said, you know, there's that mental side of it because he can play, 100% he can play. Some of the stuff he does, his movement's still fantastic. The way he pulls players around out of position, and he's just brilliant. He's just missing that killer touch. And for me, you know, I've been quite critical of him over the last few weeks. For me, absolutely, a fit Patrick Bamford starts, no question. But he's not. And, you know, you can't argue with Rodrigo's form at the start of the season. That's quite clearly dwindled into, you know, shit out and been swallowed up by a black hole somewhere. But it's... How much more time do we?
I love how you build our players up.
Yeah, no, yeah, just to fucking drag him down again.
Just your fucking choice. I'd love him to. I just really want him. Me more, but possibly just the same as everyone else. You know, I love Patrick Bamford. I love what he's done for the club. I love where he's been. You know, he started at the bottom with it. He's taken us to new heights and stuff. And it's frustrating to see. As a fan, because you want the team to do well, but you've also got a little sneaky eye at the bottom of the league thinking, if we don't actually start pulling those fucking fingers out of our asses and scoring goals, we're going to be up shit creek without a paddle. And we are far off at this point in the season being exactly where we were last season, and we were scraping fucking relegation last season. We aren't that many points away now with that many games.
Brad says it's impossible to be in that situation again. So
yeah, but he's a fucking idiot as well.
You cannot forget that.
He's a dickhead who decided not to sign a left back and a striker in summer.
Yeah.
So that says what what you need to know about him. But we can talk about it forever. But you know, at the end of the day, I would love to see a fit Patrick Bamford playing for Leeds United again. However, I think if we do not sign another striker in January, whether he be backup for Bamford, whether it be a direct rival, or whether he is our new number one striker, we need a striker in January. 100%. It's non-negotiable. If we can get Kakpo, get him. Otherwise, He's only a couple of weeks, a couple of training sessions. Well, whether we do or whether we not, whatever. Fucking sign Leo Messi for all I give a shit. I don't care. Get someone who fits our system. Get someone who's on form and can score some fucking goals, because you're only a couple of training sessions away from, Bamford's injured again.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
So then we're back to square one, and then we're relying on fucking Rodrigo and his silly pissing sponge hair to score us goals.
I think just thanks for the breakdown there, Smart. I'm just going to go through some of the comments, because there are some that I've not focused on because they were about Bamford, and I knew that we had the poll results coming up, and although I wouldn't mind you talking about one or two of the other options, this was the front runner. So Bamford was outsmarted by the Arsenal players delaying the taking of the pen. So absolutely they were in his ear. They were in his ear all the way across. He'd picked the ball up early and he was making his way to the penalty spot, and they were in his ear. That were Gabriel as well. I think a fit and firing confident Bamford takes that, uses it, and makes sure he scores it. But they were in his ear, and he's not a fit and fully firing Bamford. So the question, not having a dig at Bamford, but if we get a penalty on Thursday, does Paddy take it?
Do you know what? Like when like a couple of you both have said, there were grumblings in the crowd and stuff. They want anyone like being that vociferous and saying, "Oh Christ, please God, not him." But there were a bit of it. It were like that sort of mumbling in the crowd. And I, for one, were like, "Brilliant! He's gonna break his duck and he's gonna crack on, and it's a perfect fucking opportunity for him to score more goals." I flipped the coin. I'm thinking shit is gonna miss. And that was definitely the heavier side of the coin, if I'm totally honest. And when he missed it, I just turned around and just went, I fucking knew it. I just knew it. I just had a feeling. And then when he stepped up to take the second one, I nearly walked out.
Did you fuck?
I swear to God, I nearly walked out like, I can't take this. No. I'm going to go back into the concourse and watch it.
Can't even throw your season ticket at the pitch anymore because you're fucking.
No, you can't.
You got to throw your phone.
Throw my phone up pitch, bastard. I need that.
Dickhead.
So I'll ask the question again. We're getting a penalty on Thursday. Does Paddy take it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's our 9. Yeah. You want your number 9 wanting to take the penalty. If he wants to take it, he takes it.
And
there's another comment just here from Al. As we saw under Bielsa, Bamford is a player who needs confidence injecting all of the time. If we get a penalty Thursday and Bamford's not allowed to take it, it's ripping more confidence from him. Spot on.
Yeah, totally
absolutely
agree.
Perfect. He'll doubt himself if he's not allowed to take it, and if he just starts doubting himself, we need to buy 2 new number 9s in January, and we know that's not going to fucking happen. So
we'd love a pair of 9s, wouldn't we, Carl?
Pair of 9s, man. Pair of 9s. Be all right. Even the 2.
Not seeing anything specific to. Oh, there we go. Agree other players need to chip in with goals to help Paddy, but ultimately he's paid to score for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fair shout. And Liam's comment: Bamford made a big difference in the second half. Needs to now start games.
Took his caps lock off at end.
Yeah, so I think we've probably covered the poll subject there. For me, it's just that, like, coming back to what you were saying, Smart. If it goes in off his arse, great. His name is on the score sheet, and then it doesn't really matter how it happens, and then he can kick on from there. I think we really do need that, and that's why it's such a massive shame that actually a goal that he scored that was a perfectly good goal. Taken off him because we really needed him to get it. And just the last bit there is, if not Pat, then Click.
Yeah,
I think Pat needs to not be on the pitch for that to happen. But I'd be happy with Click taking it. But if Pat's on,
Rodrigo for me, Rodrigo belts him in. I don't think he's missed for us yet. Rodrigo, has he?
I don't think so. No.
Not that we've had loads of penalties, but
I'm going to say we've not had many, have we?
No, he broke the flag against Wolves last year, didn't he?
Yeah. He scored a few.
Yeah,
he scored a few.
What, he hit the flag with the ball that Hardy broke?
No,
he
kicked
the
flag.
Kicked the flag. Steve Morrison.
Flag went flying. Oh yeah. Okay, Christ. I remember seeing that. But,
yeah. I'm awake.
What a moment. What pride. What pride I felt when our number 1 striker, the Shift, had put it out for the throw to the other side of the field.
Shift. Poor old Billy Painter as well, barn door Billy. Fucking hell, we've had some disastrous 9s, like. But anyway.
Bandar Billy, he was one of them that I think if he'd have had an opportunity to play without any crowd, I think he'd have been fantastic. He could not handle the pressure.
Play behind closed doors. I bet he was an absolute animal in COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hunt is the worst striker I've seen for us.
Really?
McDermott brought him, didn't he? I think actually he was absolutely shite. Like absolutely shit. I remember when he came on for Accrington Stanley, the very same game that Berardi decided to scissor kick that guy on his debut. It went.
But he'd been fouled there, so it should have been a yellow card.
Well, yeah, exactly. The guy looked at him wrong. But yeah, it would just. You are.
Was Hunt with us at that game? I thought he left after the season.
No, he were there. No, he were there definitely. I don't think he were there for very much longer, but he came on. And
you honestly think that Hunt was worse than Ricketts?
At least Ricketts had an England cap, didn't he?
Yeah.
He won. I mean, come on. Lasoga was all right.
Piss off, man. He had a right chuffing shot on him, man. He were half
he needed to get in the box to fat.
Yeah. Don't say it. It's a family show, Carl. It's a family show.
Fat blunt.
Rein it in.
Fat
blunt.
Just after thinking of that.
Carry on.
No, I've got a stick with Ricketts there, I'm afraid. Quick straw poll, other than Lasoga, who in the comments do we think is the worst striker we've had? Alan Smith's got to be up there.
Ooh, been a shit house. Did you see? Did you remember when we had Brian McDermott on, and I would try my hardest not to absolutely rip into Kebe and fucking Cameron Stewart?
Yeah, you're doing your best.
I tried my absolute hardest.
Tried your best.
I really wanted to push his buttons, but I thought, no, I can't. But I thought them two were absolutely dross, Brian. What were you doing, man?
Hopefully he's not watching tonight.
They played all right for him at Reading.
Oh, they did at Reading,
They've done all right.
Well, Hunt would have Reading won it and stuff, but I mean, you look at bloody. I mean, Connor Wickham, he were cracking at Sunderland, and
but Butland, we played him at wing.
I know.
and we had Jack Butland
that went to Watford. And played up front and scored 30 odd goals next season. We played him at wing as well. Marlon King.
Oh
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it was built like a striker. He was not built like a winger. We refused to play him up front, and he went and scored loads of goals for Watford.
Yeah.
Mad at it. Speaking of playing positional changes, what did you think to playing Harrison more central on Sunday?
Didn't like
I
it.
like him at wing.
Aye.
I thought he put in a lot of work. I don't want to say that shift bit, but he put in a good game worth of work. But I like him at wing.
If we're going to be as narrow as we're playing, I'd prefer Aronson in behind Bamford.
Yeah,
just look at how tricky he is when he gets in around that. They're terrified to touch him. Absolutely terrified to touch him. Play him in that 10 role. Have him running at them fuckers all day long.
I'm not sure. So we said in the run up about Sinisterra and him playing central even when he starts on the wing. I like Aronson. So I said this at the weekend. I think I'll get this right because it was me that said it. So I'm trying to remember it. But I think Aronson is I think he's a better player when he plays through the middle. But out of the players that we've got, I think he's more effective for us on the right than anybody else. He started the season on right really well. But I think Sinisterra is so tricky on the ball, they can't get it off him. If you play him in the 10 with Aronson and Harrison on the wings, because he's drifting in there anyway. And once the ball's gone in there, he keeps it.
I said on last week's show that I would have liked to have seen Sinisterra play more central and have Aronson and Harrison on the wings, and Rodrigo to start. And I nearly got everything I wanted. The football gods were kind, but yeah, I think I'd like to see Sinisterra play more central. Try that as well because they just can't get ball off him. That's
just literally what I've just said.
Glued. Yeah. It's like it's glued to his foot.
Did I cut off again?
No, but you're repeating what I said last week.
Yeah, but I didn't listen.
Well, that's not my fault. I'm just going to put a recycle button and fucking cross your face. But I agree. You know, I would love to see it.
I am agreeing with you. Then, if you know, it's one of those where if he's naturally going to drift inside anyway, and then that means that we're playing even more narrow. And there was a comment actually earlier on in the comment saying somebody saying that they'd like to see Christensen get a bit further forward. I think that's right, and he'd give a bit more of that width if Sinisterra is going to drift inside. I think when he does drift inside and we don't get that width, for me, that's what Ayling would provide. But Christensen is growing into the games. I think he's doing pretty well. I think he played well against Arsenal. Yeah. I think he did well because you look at the players that he's going to be playing against, and at the start of the season, you know, they've got Martinelli and they've got Saka on the wings, and you're thinking it's going to be tough. That 2-3 games in, they're playing against him.
You know, waiting for him in middle.
Yeah. You know, there's plenty of pace there and plenty of good movement. So I think that the Marshall done really well. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I think the entire defence played pretty well.
That's not going out on a limb at all. I think that's a very fair statement.
Even Robin,
Gilly, I think.
Even Robin himself. Even Robin.
There were a couple of times. Do you remember the one that were a bit of an up and under, and it spent ages coming down to him, and he tried to take a touch, and Jesus was all over him, and I was like, oh God, don't, because I'm going to have a go at you then. Didn't
he do all right out of it though? Was it Cooper came out and helped him out, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was hot in the mouth, but he got away with that one. But in principle, I think the entire defence played pretty well against them. The Marshalled a pretty difficult team to play against. They did pretty well.
I can't think of any notable efforts for Jesus at all. Like none. But no. Like he was very quiet.
Saka had a good shot.
Yeah.
Ballooned it over the first one, and then the second one was exactly the same fucking thing, and just he had his sights set after that first one.
Didn't get anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I've seen a few people saying that, you know, Strike should have done better, but there were no one in the stadium, no, especially anyone on the field that expected that. I mean, I've seen stills of it. You know, the ball's probably about 6 foot in front of Rodrigo, and his back legs literally touching his ass, ready to fire this thing into orbit, into the middle of nowhere. And every time I look at it, I just think, what were you thinking?
But the defender was equally as far away from him, behind him, as the ball was in front of him. Yeah. He could have just taken a touch on the ball and played Aronson, who was literally, he played the pass into him, and he'd made the run around the midfielder, ready for the 1-2, and then he just fucking...
And that's one of the things that Rodrigo's best at. He's really good at that close pass and bringing people into the game. That's what he does.
He was playing a game of how's your touch with Stuart.
These are my strengths. Fuck that. I'm going to try and ping a fucking 40-yard ball over to right hand side of the pitch.
To that man right on the other side of the pitch that's got a man on him.
That doesn't exist because we play narrow. You know. But whatever. Well done.
Baffling. Absolutely baffling. So, to move us on somewhat, let's look forward to the upcoming games. So, we've bottom of the league, having played top of the league, Leicester. But
Leicester.
But we are away from home. So, Karl, I'm going to come to you first. From a position of looking down at a team, as we go into this game, how confident are we about getting a result out of this one?
I think I'd be honest, I'm quite confident about a very positive result down at Leicester, not just because of where they lie in the table or the fact that James Maddison isn't playing. I think they will have to play football. They will have to come at us. And I think defensively, they're a lot more frail than we are at the moment. And I think if we can find at least one player that can finish a ball off in that game, I think we can win this. I think we can win it down at Leicester. They're the one, like, we can't be low on confidence after playing that well against Arsenal. There's no way you can go into a game after playing like that and think, Jesus, confidence low. How can it be low, lads? You were unlucky not to get anything out of that game. That shouldn't be taken as down in your luck or anything like that. That should be taken as positively as you can, because you're going to a team who are down on their luck. They're way down on their luck. And I think we will definitely get a positive result down there. They'll have to play football. They're at home. They can't sit back. They'll expect the away team to sit back on and soak up pressure. I don't think we'll do that.
Okay, so Smarty, they are without that scummer, Johnny Evans, and without Soyun Chu. So from a perspective of looking at their lineup and the way that they've been playing, I don't know if you've seen much of them. Okay, I'll change the question then. Madison's unavailable after a dive in the 94th minute or whatever it was.
Yes.
Would you ask you this question? Would you swap his absence for Harvey Barnes' absence?
Ooh. Yeah, because you can absolutely guarantee that if any fucker's going to score against us, it'll be him.
Again.
Oh, yeah. But then again, Madison will probably pop a free kick in because Melia can't save free kicks. So, I don't know.
think he likes them, does he?
He doesn't like free kicks at all. But Madison, being the player that he is, that's brilliant for us because he's knocking on the door for England team as well, isn't he? He's playing very, very well at the minute. So that's a massive, massive loss for them. So that's only an injection into our arm. They've lost him. We can be more dominant in the middle of the park. Like Karl says, I really honestly couldn't agree more with what Karl said already. Based on the performance against Arsenal, we have got to be fucking brimming with confidence, as much as, reasonably practicable here. Let's be honest, because we're not absolutely bursting with confidence, are we? But after that performance on Sunday against Arsenal, we've really got to be going in with our tails up and looking to get a result. And I believe, strongly believe that we will get a result against Leicester. I really do.
Okay. So just to look, I had a glance at the head-to-head. 18 games, 9 wins apiece, 29 goals scored apiece, and only 8 clean sheets in total.
Wow, 8 clean sheets in 29.
8 clean sheets in 18 games.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. So 9 wins apiece. Although it doesn't give me any draws. So, actually, it says out of 20 Premier League games. So there's 2 draws. And then 9 wins apiece. So out of
that
20,
must be spanning quite a few decades as well. It must be, if it's all Premier League stuff as well.
Yeah. So we've kept 1 clean sheet in 16 against them. And Liam B has gone a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. As soon as you said that, I looked over and I was like, Liam.
Brimming with positivity.
Go on.
So before we move on, I will actually, hang on a minute, Iron Newton Bitter, let's just get in here and do a bit of this.
Auto know better predictions.
So before we move on, we'll have a look at the Leicester predictions. So, Smarty, I'll come to you first.
I think 2-0 to Leeds United.
Hang on, let me just run that again. 16 Premier League games, 1 clean sheet. And that was a 2-0 away win in March 2002.
Yeah. 2-0 Leeds.
Fair enough.
Karl? Scoring against us.
3-1 Leeds.
Who's scoring for them, Karl?
Harvey Barnes.
Is Vardy available? Is he playing?
I think he started at weekend.
He's a little shit in it.
Given that he does look like Steptoe and he's in his 50s, hopefully the fact that he played at the weekend means that he won't play against them.
Looks like he lives at a tip.
Oh, Harold.
Never heard him called Steptoe before.
Yeah, no, I have. Just like not in a while.
And I've gone 2-1 Leeds, and I think it'll be Harvey Barnes as well.
I might put a bet on. In fact, if I put a bet on, he won't score.
Yeah.
So there you go. May as well change your predictions right now.
No, I'm good with that.
Do it. So across the last 5 games, Leicester have won 1, drawn 1, lost 3. I'm not going to say what we've done, but Fulham have won 1, drawn 1, lost 3. So we'll move on to Fulham now. Karl, Mitrovic returned at the weekend. Scored on his return. I think they got 2-2. Bournemouth?
Yeah, 2-2.
Yeah. So where's your head at on this one, Karl?
Where's your head at? Where's your head at?
I think Silva's got them playing quite well, to be fair. Obviously, they had a few sketchy kind of opening games where they didn't really play too well, but they seem like they're where they are in the table. You know, they're only a win ahead of us, like, but you know, I Mitrovic is one that obviously will concern us as Leeds fans because he's a dick. and
Andy's already scored 7.
Yeah, but I think that run of form that he was on, I'd like to think that'll come to a bit of a halt. Like, he has patches. He didn't have a patch last time they were up, so you know he's lucky to get the 7. I think he won't get any higher than maybe.
How long's he been out for with injury?
It was out for
a couple of months. Not a couple of months.
No, he's not a couple of months.
About 2 or 3 weeks.
Played 9.
Yeah. And
has he?
He's played 9 and scored 7, so he can't have been out for that long.
Oh, fucking hell.
So I think don't try and contain Mitrovic in a 1-on-1 basis because he's just going to bully, and he'll be throwing elbows all over the place, and he'll be doing his usual Mitrovic type fucking stuff going on. But I think other than that, it's going to be a difficult game, I think, against Fulham, more so than I think we should probably expect from Leicester, in my opinion. They'll come to play football, so
you'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
you would like to think so. I hope they do, because we've seen what happens when teams like that come and just sit at the back and just don't try to play football. They'll just throw themselves on the floor. But I don't think they're like that. But I don't know, mate. I'd like to see Cooper against Mitrovic. I mean, I remember Ben White having quite a few good games against Mitrovic.
Yeah.
But obviously we don't have Ben White anymore because he's a prick and he fucked up. But
he's a right
Liam
back.
Cooper, I think Liam Cooper's now he's a right back at Arsenal. But I think Liam Cooper's got it within him to do a good job against Mitrovic. I really do. Because he's got enough experience against playing against him. Probably more so than any other striker in the league, dare I say. So I quite fancy Cooper against Mitrovic.
I don't think we'll see that matchup.
Do you not?
I think he's the perfect player. If you're playing Robin Koch, he's the perfect player to play against him. He's strong. He's good in air. If he's marking a man, he doesn't have to read the game. So
that's what I was
just
play
Llorente.
All he's doing is So all he's doing, But if you just stand on him, because Mitrovic is not going to drop off. He's not going to go into midfield. He's not going to lose his man. He's going to play number 9. He's going to stay up there, and he's going to say, "I'm going to be better than you." And so you've just got a straight matchup. And I think out of all of our defenders, he's probably our best equipped to deal with that.
I don't know me, because you saw Cooper against Antonio especially. Even Cresswell played bloody well against Antonio, but I don't know. I think hopefully you're right, but I'm not really. I wouldn't really say that as Cox one of his strengths is that. But I don't really look at him. I don't scrutinise him as much as you are, or you do. So maybe you've paid more attention to how Cox.
Bear in mind, I'm talking him up here. I'm saying this is.
I know that's what I'm saying. It's a bit weird.
I don't know. Cock-hated bastard.
Luring me.
No, he hates him, doesn't he? He absolutely hates him.
I don't hate Cock. I think he's a cracking player. I just don't know whether he's got that sort of skill set to deal with a powerful, strong number 9. But we'll see. Hopefully,
which is weird.
Either you're gonna have egg on your face, or I'm gonna have egg on my face.
I think if you look at the way that they line up and the way that their attack kind of deals with the game, I think, especially if you're going to continue playing strike, you've got strength. What you don't really have is pace, and therefore, for me, the reading of the game is the most important thing, and that's what Cooper does. So he'll read the game, he'll see the danger, and I wouldn't, because of that, and because of his ability to see the danger before it happens and snuff it out, I think he's more important to be the player that's dropping off while Cock picks up their 9. So that's what I would do. I'm not an elite coach in the Premier League, so we'll see what our elite coach does.
But we've both got better credentials than David the Hawk.
Yeah.
Ought to know better. I can't fucking speak. His very own Brendan Scott. Play clip from the start to shithouse Mitrovic. He gets a red early on. Leeds win if we can find the onion bag.
I'd rather find the back of the net now, if I'd be perfectly honest with you, Brent. Sorry.
Right, okay. So in terms of scorelines, I've captured Batty's Magic Sponge 3-0 Leeds prediction. Smarty, I'll come to you first this time.
Do we know who's reffing?
Oh, I don't. Does it get announced this early?
I think it should
Possibly.
be. Less than a week to go, innit? So it should be. Unless they do it on a game-by-game basis, whether it's released just before
Anthony
the game.
Taylor.
BBC don't have the...
Oh, is it Anthony Taylor? Shite.
Yeah.
They were getting talked up about his performance in the Liverpool game, weren't they?
I did. Yeah, they were full of praise for him, weren't they?
He's probably the best of a bad bunch, really, and I don't know. I'm gonna go 1-0 Leeds.
How?
I'm going to go a very, very squeaky bum 2-1 to Leeds. It's going to be tight like a tiger.
I think it's going to be tight. Yeah, I think it's going to be tight.
So let me get this right. On aggregate against Leicester, you're going 5-1 away from home. But against Fulham, you're going 3-1 at home. On aggregate, the two of you put together. No, the two of you put together.
Okay.
We're scoring 5 and conceding 1 away at Leicester, and we're scoring 3 and conceding 1 at home against Fulham.
Yeah, Fulham are a much better football team than Leicester. Leicester are dross, and that's probably why we'll probably lose. But I think Fulham won't give a shit how they play against us at Elland Road. Leicester will give a shit how they play at Leicester. So I think we'll have a tougher game on our hands. I think they'll be harder to break down, Fulham. So, but who knows? We're just merely podcasters. We know nothing. But
Leicester do have to come and play football, like, so. That's why I'm quite confident.
I've gone 4-1. I think we steamroll Fulham.
Oh, jeez.
Fucking hell. What did you put for Leicester? What's your fucking aggregate score then over the 2 games? It must be
my aggregate score over 2 games is 6-2. I've gone 2-1 against Leicester and 4-1 against Fulham.
Oh well,
craziness, madness. I'm going to put a bet on for you as well, 4-1. So I've got Barnes to score against us and 4-1 at home to Fulham. I'll buy you a Greg's pasty if they come in. There you go. That's all I'm offering.
Oh. What would you go? I might go with a chicken bake.
It's got to be sausage, bean, and cheese.
Actually. What are you, 5?
No, I just have taste.
If you taste, you wouldn't be eating in Greg's, man. Let's be honest. Come
off it now.
When you're stuck,
heathen
Greg's.
How dare you? How fucking
I eat
dare
there.
you?
I'm not fucking slagging it that much.
I'm not going to read this comment out. I'm just going to leave it there.
That's not something that anyone on this podcast wants to read.
I'm not reading it out.
Make it go.
Stop being a sponge, Batty's magic sponge.
Do the fucking
not a magic sponge, it's a fun sponge.
Yeah.
Fun sponge, yeah. Right, that's it, right? So, Batty's magic sponge, you have become a bit of a regular. If we win, or if we get points from both teams, you have to, in the comments, next week, you have to change your name to Fun Sponge.
Yeah,
to be fair, he has gone 3-0 Leeds against Fulham.
Jesus.
Just bringing us down.
He's just scared. He's not saying that we're going to. He's gone a 3-0 win.
See, that's the kind of thing I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say it now. I'm just like, no. I'd rather just say nothing at all than that.
Yeah, but last season you wouldn't predict.
Yeah, but that's better than saying shit like that, isn't it?
Oh, there you go. 100%. It's Fun Sponge next week, if that's the case.
Locked in.
Screenshot that shit.
Get Bremner's ghost there.
Baddy,
right.
It's so bad.
Okay, so looking forward then. So in terms of upcoming podcasts, we have our aftermatch Berardi and Coke. I think I saw talk that might happen Saturday morning for the Leicester game.
Yeah.
Well, it's like everything in our group chat. Things get said and nothing gets agreed.
so
who knows?
I mean, to be fair, the two guys that are doing the B&C for Leicester are right pricks. So it might not happen at all.
Do you know what, right? This could potentially be my first B&C of the season. I've not done one. I've not done a single one. It's criminal.
Oh, well, then we're definitely...
Karl has, but only because I bullied him into staying on with me and Jay.
Karl and
I was on the bus for that one.
Karl and Jay did one from outside pub last week, didn't they? Both huddled together.
That's right, yeah.
Like two old men at a bus stop drinking beer. Like, what do you think of that one?
It was cold, so you know.
So just before we finish off, does anybody have an auto no bitter?
You know, yeah, go on. Yeah, fuck it.
Roll VT.
Auto no bitter with Rachel Adedeji.
Go, Karl.
I want to know why the fuck it took them 30 seconds to ban Jesse Marsh from the sideline and fine him 10k, and now they've given Klopp time to fucking go on and appeal his shit. I'm sick of the bullshit. The top 6 bye is happening again. He was in the guy's face. If you did that outside a pub, a bouncer would knock your ass out and tell you to go home. How has he gotten away with such a fucking light penalty at the moment? Dickhead. I have no time for that shit. He needs to be made an example of. Fuck it. Fuck him. Throw the book at him. 5-game touchline ban. Let him fuck off with his big, shiny turkey teeth. And he can fuck off. There you go.
Turkey teeth?
It looks like he's gone over to Turkey to get his teeth done, the fucking horse face motherfucker. Like, fucking... I'm sick of that shit, man. No, look, did you see how aggressive he was towards the fucking linesman?
It doesn't matter.
Man?
It doesn't
matter. There's a still picture of him standing over him like that. Going,
but he referees games. We saw what happened with Troy.
Exactly. I was literally going to say the same thing. Man. He can do whatever he bloody well wants to because he's Jurgen Klopp, the best manager in the world, with a shitty smile.
Yeah, it was fucking like that. That's essentially all I had to say. That was a horse manure, man. Absolute fucking bullshit. But anyway, if anyone else has a problem with that, you get in on it if you want.
No, I totally agree with you.
No, I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the comments that's ever been on this podcast. I don't think there's anybody that would ever stand up in defence of Klopp. Yeah. I will say that there were some people that appreciated him when he first came because he kind of wasn't as dickish, but he really is now. So nobody's going to be sticking up for him.
He's 100% Bellend now, like 100%.
Yeah. Well, he's just ingrained himself within the fabric of that club, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's a proper whining bastard. Whining bastard.
100%.
Just like all of their fucking fans.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, I don't want to say the V word. But they are. You know what I mean, don't we, lads?
Careful, you're going to get cancelled.
Yeah. Fucking bunch of whining bastards. Fuck them.
100%. Can't argue with that.
I like the way we test the limitations of what we can fucking say on this podcast sometimes.
We'll say the C word and everything else quite happily, quite merrily say whatever we like. But the V word is off bounds. Off limits. I'd like to talk one thing a little bit about the Rafinha situation over at Barcelona. Without sounding like too much of a complete dick, but fucking shit happens, mate. Suck it up. You decided to move away from Leeds. This is what happens in football. That's life. you know. And same to that fucking Phillips as well. You know, shit happens. Grass isn't always greener.
But a question do we feel sorry for him? I don't feel sorry for him in terms of the choices they make. It's a shame that Phillips is injured. But the only difference it would make would be he'd be sat on the bench instead of sat in the physio room.
Yeah, absolutely. Rafinha died for our club. He put everything on the line for our club, and it's a shame that he managed to get his dream move, whatever anyone thinks about it. But I don't care. He's not part of our club anymore. Shit
He's
happens.
not part of our club anymore.
Move on. Seeing a fucking bit. There's people like, oh, should we go back for him in January? No, fuck off. We've got.
I saw a really weird one today that was tagged in. I think tagged Rads and said, "We need a left back, and Rafinha's not happy at Barca. Why don't we go get him?"
Nah. Well, that Facebook comment by any chance?
To play him at left back. No, that was on Twitter.
Fucking hell.
But with the Calvin situation's different in it. I mean, we've all said enough probably about what we think and stuff, but he engineered a move away from the club, and so fuck you.
Yeah.
Will he ever have legend status at Leeds?
Ever
or iconic?
Which one of them? Both of them.
Either of them.
I think that if Calvin retires, having never gone to the scum, potentially played abroad a bit, he'll be highly thought of. He can fuck off at the minute, the mercenary bastard. But
like Viduka-esque, or maybe
maybe
Kelly sort of David Batty sort of thing.
Probably not to that level.
Higher.
Kind of in that next level
in that
down.
Area. Yeah.
See, Batty came back for us.
Not quite at that level.
Yeah. He did.
And he played through one of our best periods in our history for,
and that's another point, actually, is if he comes back, if he gets past his injury issues and he comes back in 3-4 seasons' time and plays well for us, yes, he'll definitely be highly thought of by the fan base. At this point in time...
did the same thing with Blackburn, though. They were Money FC back in the day, Premier League.
Jack Walker's millions.
He did exactly the
same. We shipped him.
I don't think he didn't engineer a move away from the club like that shit.
And that's the difference. That does make a
difference.
Yeah.
It made a massive difference to me personally. If it wouldn't have found out that he actually sought out to move away from Elland Road, and didn't play that well in the games preceding the end of the season, that made a massive difference to me. Huge difference to me.
I'd agree.
But with Rafinha absolutely fought tooth and nail, put everything on the line. Tried his hardest. It meant everything. I mean, for Christ's sake, he would bloody crawling across the pitch, paying homage to his gods or whatever. That's what it meant to him. He fought for this club.
Yeah. And you look at that goal that he set up for Joffe. How many other players towards the end of the game run his blood to water because he did. He was working hard. That would have just gone out for a goal kick.
Yeah. Hoofed it straight over the bar or whatever as well. Yeah. And but obviously they've got over to Spanish wankers Barcelona, who are just an absolute bunch of pricks. I fucking hate Barcelona now.
Actually, I did make a comment on that one. It was something like somebody chooses to join a poisonous club that everybody else can see is a really, really bad idea, and it turns out like it's a poisonous club and it were a really bad idea. I mean,
has he been playing that badly though? Seriously, when I've watched him, he seemed to play okay.
One goal in 9 or 10.
Yeah, but he's not a striker.
He's not a forward, is he?
Yeah,
I mean, he's a forward. He's not a striker. Yeah.
But look at what he did for us in his first season, man. He had 12 goals and fucking 14 or 15 assists, in his first season.
But he has been getting subbed a lot as well. So although he's been starting, he's been getting subbed a lot. So the point I'd made, sometimes a club that's been mismanaged for years and is so plainly obviously poisonous and a bad choice for anyone to sign for, miraculously turns out as a bad choice for somebody to sign for.
There you go.
It was never going to go well. I didn't think it was ever going to go well. When you look at the position that Frankie de Jong were in, 17, 18 million or 30 million or I think PK 18 million and de Jong with 30 million or something mad. They had tens and tens of millions out to the players. You've got to be mad to sign for him in first place.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've got to be mad to fucking sell to them. How are we getting that money? Like, I mean, come on. Like, you got to be mad to sign for them, but we've got to be mad.
Apparently.
Have we?
Anyway, apparently so, yeah.
Well, the first bit
Pay
of it
back
was a
first.
massive payment.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just whether we get the rest of it. But it's like if there's a legal binding contract where it says there's so many percentage is going to go up if you don't pay this date and that date, then they're going to be absolutely fucked, aren't they?
Yeah,
And it's a
she's
legal
fucking-
matter then.
Yeah, but
Oh,
we
for
talked
fun.
about that before, and it's not like banning somebody that's going to be driving without insurance and without tax and without a
Yeah, of
license.
course it is.
You ban them, and then what's it going to happen? They're just going to carry on doing it.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. They did right. The club did right by Rafinha, didn't they? I mean, he were pretty much a done deal with Chelsea, wasn't it? You know, Rads had agreed to it. You know, he were going to Chelsea. They'd accepted his £60 million offer or whatever it was, but they stood by him and let him go to Barcelona. So,
I'd rather that, to be fair. I'd rather that than play against him.
Well,
Oh,
he said the
fuck
same,
him.
didn't he? Rafinha said he didn't want to play for anyone in Premier League other than Leeds.
Yeah.
So,
Which
You think?
that might not be true, but we'll lap it up, don't we?
Well, whatever. Absolutely. Fucking love it.
Until he signs
Give me
for
that
City
fucking
next season.
fake shit. Get off it. Give me your fake nostalgia. Just swallow it up.
Right, okay. So we'll be back here at some point next week after we've done the 2 B and C's. I think Fulham will be Sunday night.
Yeah, I may not be on Saturday morning.
Maybe. It might be Saturday morning, might be Sunday night, it might be Monday night,
Might
and
be
then
a-
we'll be
might be a
main
joint
pod
job.
Tuesday.
Hey, we may as well. Like, who's going to watch Soccer AM anyway? It's gone to the fucking dogs. So just come on and watch me
I've
and
not watched it
Smarty
for
talk
years.
shite.
I don't either. So yeah, on that note, let's go out and pump 2 shit teams, get to 6 points. We'll get back into the main pod next week and we'll all be laughing.
Yeah, man.
Works for me.
Did it?
Sweet.
Cheers, everybody.
See you.
Better excited to announce a new partnership